go!
Hey everybody, it's your boy Owen here again, and I'm going to do knives today for a change.
Time for a change.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This is our 5 tips on how to sharpen a carving.
Blank Blank is finally here on time. Welcome back, Blank Blank.
Hey Blank, are you living, homie? Can I just call you Blank? Is that okay? Are we on a first name basis? Or
Blank.
Is it still Mr. Blank?
Mr. Blank.
Captain Blank, Chef Blank,
Let's go Captain Blank. I like Captain Blank. Captain Blank, thank you very much for joining us here. If you guys have any questions about anything that we're doing today, just give us a little shout out at the bottom of the comment section, and I'll be happy to relay it back to Owen for any questions.
YouTube guys on there, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell. I heard a rumor that we're getting T-shirts made up that they're going to be like dislike and unsubscribe.
Okay.
Oh man, that's like the opposite of what is good.
I've got a question tonight after you guys.
Shout out to 4 Wins for supplying us with beer. Thanks, 4 Wins. You guys are awesome.
Ooh, Blank Blank wants to be called Dr. Blank.
Dr. Blank?
Dr. Blank.
He's the one to call Dr. Blank. Blank. He's the one that makes you feel comfortable. Oh, sorry. Let's sharpen some knives. So carving knives, Sujihikis, Yanagibas. It's almost Easter time, and that means it's almost time for ham. One of my very favorite foods. This is a perfect knife to slice a holiday roast, holiday ham, anything that is big. I use mine for like pineapples and watermelons and that sort of stuff too. Basically anything that you want to get through with a nice long draw cut without changing directions a bunch of times and putting all these lines into your meat. That looks very unprofessional. So we're going to sharpen up a 240 millimeter Fujimoto Nashiji Sujihiki made from Aogami 2 with stainless cladding.
Fujimoto Nashiji.
One of our favorites. But it's not going to do the job unless it can cut the stuff. Is this able to? No.
Yo, that knife is pretty dull.
A knife is not sharp, and we're going to change that. This other knife that I got here, this is a single beveled slicer. So this is called a Yanagiba. Yanagiba is a single beveled knife. So there is one face of the knife that is sharpened and one face of the knife that is actually concave. These guys really excel at fish preparation. So like your sashimi slicing, your skinning the fish. You can get big deba that are sort of ground in a similar way for like knocking off the head and the tails. But in a pinch, if you only have a Yanagiba, you can certainly slice meat with it. It's a very simple principle. It is a big long knife that you want to get through in one nice stroke. Right? So
Big Shoka says, what's up, guys? I got 8 knives to sharpen tonight for my friend.
Dope. All right.
8 knives. Welcome to the stream.
Let's get to work then, buddy. Cheers.
Yeah. What are you drinking by tonight, by the way?
This is a 4 Winds collaboration with someone I don't know. I think they're from Ontario. It's the Pills pack. It's all Pilsners.
Oh,
it's
nice.
Delicious. Yeah, it's delicious.
Nice. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, we sharpen all the knives for 4 Winds, and their brewery, they always bring us delicious beverages in exchange for the work. It's a very good relationship.
Delicious beverages.
Delicious alcoholic beverages. So let's start with the Sujihiki, because that is probably going to be a little bit more relevant for a lot of the people watching here. It's a double beveled knife. It's a much more common shape to see in the kitchen. And then we're going to touch on some basic pointers to keep your single bevel knife nice and sharp. I'm not going to get too deep into primary bevel sharpening and wide bevel sharpening. You can tune in for Naoto's class, which is tomorrow at our time, 3:15, their time, 4:15, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes over most of the wide bevel stuff. But I'm just going to sort of show you how to keep it up, because if you sharpen something like this incorrectly, you can actually unknowingly cause a great deal of damage and some issues that will make us at the knife store cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to point out something. You know what? Owen's getting serious when he puts glasses on. He's got to concentrate now.
All right. So that knife, as we just discovered, is pretty effing dull. So I'm going to start on a pretty low grit stone. What do we got here? What should I use? 400.
400.
400 grit is perfect place to start off. So this is a low grit stone. 220, anything below 220, like 150, 200, all the way up to like a 400 grit stone, or sort of what I would consider like a low grit. And those are used for the like foundational work, right? That's going to grind some steel off of the edge. It's going to start to form a new edge for you. You don't want to use this stone too frequently. If your knife isn't that dull, it's like going to the dentist to have spinach removed from your teeth. You're wasting your time. You're actually wasting your knife too. So we're going to start on a 400, but if you can, don't. Like if you did that paper test and it was still like kind of doing the job, maybe start at like a 1,000, a 1,200, a 2,000, something like that. This stone is what we call a splash-on stone, meaning that I don't need to soak it. So I just sprayed some water onto this guy. The water is still very much on the stone. If I were to do something like that with, say, this Knifewear 220, if I spray water onto this stone here, it immediately sinks in. It's totally dry. You can see the water is going nowhere, right? This guy is telling me that I want to be soaked. So if before you start working with this, make sure you plunk it into some water for about 20 minutes or so. You'll see a whole bunch of bubbles start to form on it. It'll start to suck up that water into the pores super fast and eventually become saturated. And at that point, you may begin to work with it. As if you get impatient and you start sharpening on a dry stone, you're not going to get very good results. You're going to wear down your stone super fast. You're going to get a scratchy, knife, and it's not going to feel sharp.
Not gonna feel sharp.
So my 400 here is ready to go. This is the professional 400, by the way, made by Knifewear. This guy is $89. It is a very high quality stone. It holds its shape really well. It cuts steel very, very quickly.
Blank, that guy is just a carton spray that we just got from a hardware store.
Yeah, it's like one of those gardening things.
Yeah. We even got a back one. Ah!
Yeah.
Got me all wet there, Owen.
Yeah.
Got my crotch wet.
So let's set our angle on this knife. I want to sharpen this guy at approximately a 15-degree angle. I think that's a pretty good blanket for most Japanese knives. If you want to go a little bit of a lower angle, go for it. The trick is when you're sharpening at a low angle like that, it's a little bit hard to hit that apex properly. You might have to grind off more steel than necessary, and the knife might not stay sharp for a super duper long time. So 15 degrees, I think, is usually perfect. So that's what I'm going to aim for. 15 degrees, I know, is like this. I've done this 1,000 times, and 15 degrees is now just part of my muscle memory. This feels about right. But if I were to, want to learn how to set that angle, I'm going to use some nickels. So I have one nickel that acts as a spacer, and I'm going to pile up 3 nickels directly behind it here. I then take the knife and put it perpendicular to the stone. I remove that spacer, which is contacting the knife, and then there you go. About 15 degrees there.
That's good.
Well, that was good. It worked really well. Nickels. That's all you need, baby. You can also get a tool like a toe grip. You know what that thing is?
Toe grip is always in that little section there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right at top. You see it?
It's basically like a little clip you can slide onto the back of your knife, and then it can act as your angle guide for you. These guys are $17. They're super handy when you're learning how to sharpen and when you're starting to figure out how to set your angle. But you don't want to rely on it too much. Especially when you have a knife that has a curve to it, it can cause you to sort of sharpen on a weird radius and you round your tips off and stuff. But if you're looking to sort of get some training wheels, which you will eventually plan to take off, that's a really good way to go. You can also, if you have an iPhone, there's an app called Measure on there, and it has actually an angling system because there's a gyroscope in a smartphone, right? So you lay it on the table and you can beep boop, and then you can look at your 15-degree angle. Oh, I don't have it open, but I do have this really good picture of a dog. You see that guy?
Looking dog.
Yeah.
What kind of dog is that?
I don't know, but he's got wings and he's a special man.
But you're a cat person.
I like dogs too.
Okay.
All right. Don't tell me what I'm allowed to like.
Blank.
All right, so about 15 degrees, measure your angle. You can also just eyeball it. This is 90 degrees, cut it in half, 45, cut it in half, about 22, a little bit lower is 15. Consistency is key. So what I'm going to do is start moving this knife along this stone. I have my 3 fingers sort of planted at the edge of the knife, but not actually touching the stone. If I rub my fingers on this stone for long enough, I'm going to get stone finger. It's a very serious condition that you might want to talk to your doctor about, where your fingers start to bleed and your stone turns red. You want to avoid that at all costs. And I'm going to start some gentle back and forth motion.
Blank actually, he does this for a living. Mark. He does half his income from sharpening actually.
Who's that?
Blank. Dr. Blank.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Make paper.
He's pretty local too.
Watch your back.
Watch your back. And now.
So some gentle back and forth motion is all it takes. I'm not really pushing down too hard. I'm letting the stone do the work here. I am sort of in a comfortable posture. I'm sort of just shoulder width apart down at my feet. I'm holding the knife sort of like a 45-ish degree angle across the stone here. And that's just comfortable for me to stand like this for a long period of time. You don't want to get into positions that you have to like get acrobatic, because then you're not going to do a good job. So it's nice and comfy. After several strokes, I've probably done about 20 strokes there, I'm going to start to feel for what we refer to as burr. Burr is the presence of some steel that has been sort of pushed by the stone, but is still attached to the knife. That indicates that I have sharpened right down to the apex of the blade. and I can feel a little bit of burr beginning to develop back in this section that I'm working at. So that's basically your test to see if you've done the thing. And yes, the thing has been done. If you feel nothing, compare it to up at the top of the knife where you weren't working. If they feel the exact same, keep working back and forth. If you feel that burr, you may continue. I'm going to move 3 finger widths down here, and I'm going to continue that work.
Oh, yeah.
So first tip. Tip the first. Tip number the 1.
Okay.
Don't get discouraged when you're trying to sharpen a big, long knife. It's not necessarily harder to sharpen a big knife. It just takes a little bit more time. So don't try to rush through it.
Patience is key, guys.
Patience is always key.
Take your time. Yeah. Don't rush it. Remember, speed is not the game here.
Yeah.
So take your time. Sunday Gourmet says, ask, when does Conroe season start? Oh, I started like last week, my friend.
Already. We're in
Vancouver. I don't know if it's super sunny still out there. I don't know if you guys can see that out the window there. But we got a lot of sun this week. It's supposed to be raining a lot, but you know what? We'll take the sun.
We do a rain or shine.
We'll take the sun.
You can't stop me from grilling.
Can't stop us.
From grilling sweet meats.
Yep. Yeah, we got a lot of folks grilling at this time. So lots of people eating and grilling and buying all those Benchotan and stuff like that. We got a lot of Benchotan. If you're Vancouver, we actually have a ton of Benchotan on the corner there. So if you guys looking for some, come on, pop them by.
Yeah, it won't last long though.
Won't last long.
Yeah, it never does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you guys need your Conroe grills, it's now the time to get them. They are super popular and they move fast. So if you guys are looking for any size Conroe, it's the best time to just kind of pop on the website and just get yourself one now.
All right, so I'm working my way up this blade here. I'm working my way up to the tip. And the tip is one of the trickier parts to do on your knife because this whole section of the blade is fairly flat, whereas this section of the blade begins to curve. So I need to do a little bit more of a swoopy kind of motion here. So tip number B. Tip B. We started with tip the first. Now we have tip B. Mind the tip. The tip of the knife that you're using, especially when you're working with a Sujihiki, which is also a very dandy tool for cleaning meats before you begin to slice them, the tip needs to be very, very, very fine. So there's actually a couple of different methods to sharpening the tip. I'm going to show you my very favorite, and I'm going to show you my favorite way to do it on a Sujihiki. So I'm sure if you've watched this channel before, if you've watched this show, you know how I like to sharpen the tip. I sort of spread my fingers from the tip, belly, to the flatter section, and I try to work in one solid movement, raising my elbow back as I do my back draw and dropping it back down as I push back forward. So go nice and slow, raise, drop, raise, drop. What I actually like to do on my slicer knives, or the knives that I want to be the most articulate, is actually drop my sharpening angle down by a degree or two. So this is something that I learned from examining knives from the Kotetsu line. It's sort of like, it's made by a group called Ironclad by a guy named Shibata-san, who also runs a company called Japan West. And on his knives, he actually does a little bit of a lower angle down at the very tip of the knife. You can see the blade row begins to expand up towards the tip because the tip doesn't get used a whole ton, but when you do use it, you want it to be extremely fine and sharp. So I lower that angle down just a hair.
Blind Black asks us, like, what do you guys do with serrated? He just uses a Dremel to help speed it up. You know,
that's a perfectly viable option. A Dremel tool with the proper attachments is probably going to do a really good job as long as you don't go too ham on it. Absolutely. We actually just got some pretty dope little stones. I'll show you here.
Yeah, these are pretty dope. We don't deal with a lot of serrated, but once in a while, if we need a touch up, we will use these stones to kind of give it a little bit of help. But, you know, serrated knives are tricky. Dremel is what I tried to use, but I'm not really good at it. But you see that little wedge there?
This is a Sujihiro. They call it a dual stone. Here, I'll just hand it off to you. You can probably show them a bit better.
So this guy's a dual stone. Basically, this comes also in a 300 grit. It's kind of a wedge. So you guys see that? The wedge is helps so that you can actually conform to the shape of the serration. And there's even a smaller one up the top here. So this is really good. It's like, I like this because it's like a small little camping stone. If you want to take it outdoors or something like that, give it quick touch-ups. This is pretty awesome to have, honestly.
That's also great for those pocket knives that have the little serrated parts near the heel. Yeah, it's a dope little guy. You can use it just as a regular stone. You sort of have to angle yourself weird. But yeah, these guys make it awesome for doing like wide serrations and narrow serrations.
Yeah. Tomorrow, Naoto and Nathan is doing an axe sharpening class for tomorrow's event sharpening class.
Super. That's
And
awesome.
That's nerdy hour there.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I want to sharpen a couple
Yeah, let's tune
glasses.
into that for once. We've never actually watched it before.
Yeah, maybe I'll tune in one time.
No, we
as
never
well.
watch any of the other shows on this channel. We just assume that ours is the best.
Yeah. Owen, you always have the best T-shirts most of the time. Kyle Dillon is he's just straight up jealous.
Naoto's got the best jackets though. So if you want to see some really kick-ass Japanese jackets. All right, so I'm going to take a look at the edge that I've created here. And it's a little bit tough to see on the cameras. I don't know if we're going to be able to translate that. But I'm looking at the blade road that I've created along this knife. And it looks very uniform in its width until I get to the very tip of the knife where I can see it expand a little tiny bit wider. And that means that I've done this at angle X, and then I've done this at angle X plus 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit of a lower angle on that guy. So I'm going to try to recreate this guy. I've got burr all the way. Yep. And I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So again, if you're new to this, 5 nickels and 1 nickel. But this time I'm going to put it on the opposite side of that stack. I put my knife down, perpendicular to the stone. I remove that nickel. There we go. About 15 degrees there.
Looks good.
Yeah.
James says that stone that you guys showed me looks like it's great for polishing Yoroshi. Probably not. Probably not. It's a little bit difficult with that Yoroshi part of it. I don't think anybody has figured out how to sharpen that Yoroshi of a Yanagiba. Not quite yet. It's definitely a tricky one to find out.
Yeah, those ones only go up to 1,000 grit, so you'd probably just end up stretching it up.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm basically repeating the same thing on the other side of the knife. Again, if you're new to this, relax, keep your arms down by your side. I sort of have at this point the knife at almost a 90-degree angle across the stone here. Just nice and relaxed. Take your time, move slowly, and mind that angle. You want to make sure that you're sort of locking your hand's position, your wrist, and try to move more from your elbows and your biceps and your shoulders. That'll help you maintain a better angle. Mm-hmm. And keep feeling for that burr every few strokes.
Dr. Blank Blank, he says he wants to grab one of those stones next time.
Yeah.
He just dropped a bit of money on Dreno, some Bear Binox Metacore, and 60 grit silicon carbide.
Am I having a stroke? What did you say?
I tell you, I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. I butchered that name. And it's Suhiro Rika. So he's on a tight budget right now, but
he's got to get on the Sugiro train already. Those are made by Sugiro. They do a great job.
Jordan's here. What up, man? I don't think that's your picture, but yeah. What up, Jordan?
Which Jordan?
Jordan. Our Jordan.
Who?
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Oh, that guy. I always forget his name.
Watch out. All right. How you doing there?
Doing great.
Doing great.
Got burr all the way up.
Oh, sounds great.
I'm going to get back to the tip here. So, almost at the tip, I'm going to show you guys again the way that I like to do the tip. I sort of spread my fingers out from the tip, belly, and the flatter part of the knife, and I lift my elbow, and I drop my elbow. Lift and drop. Lift and drop.
Oh, snap. It is a picture of him. I didn't realize that. I didn't recognize you. The circle's too small, man.
So keep in mind, I'm attempting to do a complete 50-50 grind. So I'm dropping the angle of the tip a little bit on the left face of the knife as well. Again, it's rule B, tip number B. Always get that tip really nice and sharp. You usually have to lift up your elbow a little bit more than you think that you do to get that tip really to make great contact against the stone there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rowan, can you grab me the spray thingy? Just pass it over for me. Yeah. Just give it to me. No. I can't move from here. There. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna grab that thing. So if you guys, if we get 25 likes in this video here, I get to spray Owen directly at him. But at this time, I'm just gonna spray at the stone there.
Bleach or something first?
No. Just normal water. Because you sprayed me earlier, so I'm just gonna help you with that stone over there.
Thanks, bud.
There we go. Okay. I'll spray you later, but I'm gonna help you out as much as possible.
25 likes.
25 likes is all we want. It's not much, guys. All we need is 25 likes.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell, turn on notifications so you'll never miss another video.
Yeah, man.
Are we doing any like Call of Duty videos? Are we doing like a thing with PewDiePie or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
No? Is he still around?
I think so.
Yet? I don't know. All right. I got burr all the way up. By the way, when I'm feeling for burr, wipe off your knife first. It's way easier to feel on a dry knife than a wet one. So there we go. I got burr all the way up. I'm going to take a look at my work. It looks good. Looks pretty even. Right up to the tip. All right.
All right. We have a little question here. Or actually, a little bit of question. It says Adam Yarbrough. He asked us. He's been doing some serious work on a shun that was sharpened for many years without thinning. He tried to thin it out with a Toma 140 plates, and it seemed very slow. Do you have any suggestions for a faster way?
Patience.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. That's really the only way.
The VG10 shuns, the Shun Classic, the Shun Premier, they're very slow going.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time. If you're able to bring it into the shop, I would recommend it because we can hit it up on our wheels, or we can even hit it up on a sand belt if it's in really bad disrepair.
Yeah.
It just takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's just patience. Like I had the same problem when I first started Knifewear, and I had a really thick shun, and it just, for me, I didn't learn how to really be patient with that type of edge to it. So eventually you get to it, but sometimes we just use fancy spinning wheels and belts here to thin it out, and that takes a lot more time. But that's the only really way to do it. At home, you're stuck with the Atomic plate. Honestly,
there's no other. The best thing
you're stuck with that, and that's honestly the best way to do it. So good luck with that, Autumn. Sorry about that, man.
So I've moved on to the Naniwal Professional 1000 grit. Quite possibly the best stone in the entire goddamn universe. I love this stone. It feels so good. It's got great feedback. It cuts steel really quickly. It's great. Lasts for friggin' ever. This stone is rad. We use it a lot here at the store. Most of the time when I'm sharpening any fancy knife, I will bust this one out for my mid-step. Tip of the third. Tip of the third. Go to a high polish when you're sharpening a Sujihiki. So a lot of the time, if someone brings me a, let's just say, Tojiro DP Nikiri, it's a great knife. Nothing wrong with that knife. VG10 steel, really well ground, really nice and rugged. You can beat them up and not really get into trouble. I will usually sharpen that guy up to maybe 2,000 or 3,000 grit. VG10 steel is great at 2,000, 3,000 grit. Vegetable knives are great, 2,000, 3,000 grit. They have a little bit more tooth. They're able to bite into those like pesky tomato skins, pepper skins a little bit more easily.
Stop that. Compare that stone to a Sharpening glass. Go.
This one's got a smoother feedback for sure. The Sharpening glass has a little bit more sort of a crunchy feel. I don't know how to describe it.
I think you're opposite that way. I think that one has a smoother feel to it.
We just have different sort of sensibilities.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Owen thinks like that one has a bit more crunchy to it. I feel that the Sharpening glass has a bit of a smoother, but a bit of a faster. It doesn't build up a lot.
This one's like velour, and that one is like silk.
Yeah. That's there you go. Yeah.
They're both nice fabrics. I kind of like the velour though.
The velour has like a nice little coating on it.
It's almost like creamy.
Yeah.
It's
got a nice feel to it.
Yeah, they're both really rad stones. I like the Sharpen stuff a lot for sure. Another really great thing about this Pro is that it is huge. It's a big, massive honking brick of a stone when they're brand new. So they do last a lot longer than a Sharpen. They're a few bucks more. This is $109. A Sharpen is, only $73. Yeah. So this guy, you do get a lot more stone for the money.
We got some like a community happening in our chat here. Blank is teaming up with Kyle Bolden. And
are they ganging up on us?
Oh no, they're just like sharing information about how to like grind down that shun.
Oh yeah. What are they saying?
One guy wants to buy he says invest in a 1x30 belt sander. Yes, basically. Yeah, that's a good idea. They're very handy. I'm not gonna lie.
What size is ours?
I think it's a 1x42.
A little bit larger, yeah.
Yeah, our belt's a little bit larger, but a 1x30 works perfectly fine too.
Be extra careful when you're working with that kind of machine if you do invest in one. I'm sure there are a lot of resources you can find to help you out, but just in a nutshell, always keep your knife nice and wet when you're using it, especially when you're working up towards the tip. Be very, very, very cautious when working up towards the tip.
Yeah.
Because you can blew out your steel pretty easily with that guy.
We have like a big giant water jug like right there.
Yeah.
If you guys don't see that.
Bucket of water underneath, you dip the knife in, you dip the knife in all the time.
Goes in and out all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Pandro, amazing. He just bought like 4 glass stones from us. 250, 1,000, 4,000, 8,000.
Yeah, I think I was talking to Han the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Alejandro?
Alejandro, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he asked us a couple questions a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was emailing us asking for your Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I hope he managed to track you down.
I think so. I think I got him his answer there.
I was actually talking to him earlier today. He's looking for some Kurosaki knives.
Kurosaki
So
knives. I'm glad you can join us there, Alejandro. Like I said, like we are always happy to help if you want to. If you have any questions about anything, hit us up. We're always happy to help. All right, how you doing there, Owen?
I'm great. I'm just hitting up the left side on my 1,000 grit professional here.
Left side of the professional grit. The tip, you can see that when he's doing it, he's kind of stepping in sideways there, but he's still lifting up that elbow that you see there. Just to kind of keep it, you can get that nice motion and transition to the tip there. So, because we practice, eventually you guys get it.
So after this, I'm going to give it a quick test. I'm going to say this is tip number 4. Track your progress. Because this technique that I'm showing you where you lower your angle down, it can be a little bit easy to miss the burr on there and just not sharpen the edge at all. And if I were to work my way through 4 stones doing this technique to find at the end that I was not actually making the apex up at the tip, I'd be kind of choked. So I'm just going to give a quick strop on the stone, and I'm going to grab some paper and see where I'm at. So if you joined us from the beginning, you will know that this knife was not doing anything to this paper. Boy, I sure hope it is now. That'd be embarrassing. A lot better. All the way up to the tip.
That's not embarrassing.
A lot better. Yeah.
Tim Chan. Welcome back, Tim Chan. He says that I find that my Toma 400 leaves too fine of a surface finish on my coarser stones. Yeah, it does. Like, it's just, sometimes it's a little bit smoother when you finish it up. Should I get the Toma 140 or I should just go for coarse silicon carbide lapping powder? I would use the 140 for sure. Like, it's we sometimes go through like our Knifewear 220 or even our Sharpening glass 220, and even our lapping plates out of 140 still kind of smooths it out a bit more. So like in a sense, the drilling stone or the diamond stone does create a bit of a smoother surface, but as long as you're using it, it will cut as fast as it wants to be. Kind of weird, eh? Don't adjust that. I help you. Yep, and this little block here that holds
Yeah,
there.
I see it.
It's good.
I just need to move this in a little bit because I want to Nagura this stone.
Not good on that
Yeah.
stone.
So this is a working knife shop where we sharpen knives and sell knives and do all this work. So all of these stones are being used every single day on a daily basis. This is a dirty stone.
So this is in case you guys want to know. This sharpening setup we just made like a couple of days ago. We just grabbed this random bucket for this. What's this box called again?
I don't know.
A very useful box.
No, that's this one. I don't know what
This one's called a very useful
yeah.
box too. I think so. Same.
Yeah, this is kind of like a better sharpening setup for the camera.
It's also just a little bit shorter than our usual larger bucket over there. So it's nice to have around. It's a nice shallow bucket. But you can see we also use our bamboo bridge onto it. A nice little sink bridge.
This is a great little piece of equipment.
Yeah. We can use it on the bucket. We can also use it in the sink. It's just a nice little handy tool to have around.
If you're
obviously.
in the industry, you can use it on a hotel pan. If you know what a hotel pan is, you work in the industry. If you don't know what a hotel pan is, don't worry about it.
Yep.
This is called a Nagura stone. Nagura stone, this is a very, very hard vitrified 600 grit stone. I use this guy as basically a cleaning stone. So if we take a look at this guy, it's got some lines in it. It's got some stuff wedged into all the little pores of the stone. And those pores are what makes your stone a sharpening stone. They make it work. So if they all get clogged up, I'm not going to do a great job. This, by the way, is my Sharpening 6000 glass stone. I'm going to take my pre-soaked Nagura, and I'm just very gently going to clean this stuff off. And you can see how fast it works. It's just taking off a very, very fine sort of top layer of the sharpening stone right off there, freeing up all of that gobbledygook. And now I'm ready to sharpen on it.
Clean.
Easy peasy.
Alejandro, he just took a break from work and he's got to go back, but he's got a beat up Sabache that he needs to work on. So
yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Alejandro. Really appreciate it.
Back to work.
Back
Get
to work.
Got bills piling up. Where's Alejandro?
Hondo.
Who's going to make this calamari? All right, I'm going to move up to my 6,000 grit stone now. I really like this stone. This is one of my favorite stones.
Blank says he doesn't know anyone that really cares for anybody to share this sharpening knowledge with. So the streams are my outlet. Yeah,
absolutely, man. We appreciate your input. We sharpen for a living as well, but we always learn something from all the people who come and watch our channels and comment on our videos. There's just like cooking, just like music, just like everything else in life. You're never gonna know everything, so we always appreciate you, you geeks coming in and tell us what for.
No, absolutely. It's fun to talk and geek out with Owen. Like, yeah. I only talk to this guy, and like the rest of my staff are geeking out with knives, but I'm a little too geeky with Owen sometimes, and he goes, "Okay."
Yeah, I pretend that I gotta go like do some paperwork.
He doesn't want to listen to my bullshit. But yeah.
So this 6K is a pretty fast cutter. I find that it does a really, really nice job polishing. I just did the whole flat section of the blade there. That's all it took. I'm gonna pop this. We close to 25 likes.
Yeah, we are we at 25 likes yet? Can I spray Owen yet? That'd be nice. Tim Chan says, if you're not really on the Sharpening Reddit, join it. It's a lot of people asking questions every day. Share the knowledge, brother.
I can't get on Reddit. I can't be on Instagram. I can't get on TikTok. I got too many crazy ex-girlfriends. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I try to avoid subreddits and those kind of things because all I do is just talk about knives all day and night. And, I go home and I don't want to talk about knives, but I don't mind it once in a while. But you need to break from knives.
Maybe when I take my 3-month sabbatical, which I'm offered here in Knifewear.
Ooh,
it's a good place to work.
Place to work.
Yeah.
Good place to work. Snap. We only have 11 likes. That's not good. That's not good, guys.
Am I a joke to you?
We're 14 likes away from spraying Owen with a giant water gun.
Francis was up at 7 a.m. today working on video content, and we're at what? 14 likes?
14 likes. 11 likes.
Ugh. Yeah. Disgusting. So this 6,000 grit stone, you'll notice I'm sort of blasting through pretty fast. Once you've sort of established your edge with your 220 or your 400, and then you've got a little bit of refinement with your 1,000 or something in that neighborhood, the work tends to go a bit faster. It's tougher to feel for a burr when you're on this higher grit stone. I can sort of feel the feedback in the stone, sort of the tactile feedback where it starts to feel a little bit sticky. I'm developing a nice amount of slurry on here, and I'm polishing the steel. And that makes the stone have a little bit of a stickier feedback. So when I'm changing directions, I sort of feel a little bit of a tug, a little bit of resistance. That's usually a good indicator to me that I've done a pretty good job in that section and I can sort of move on. But when I am all done, it's always a good idea to check for burr. So running your thumb off the edge of the knife is not really going to tell you a whole lot. What I like to do is feel the actual edge. So I hold the knife sort of up and down like this with the edge on this side. I just finished this face of the knife. So my burr, by reason, should be over on this side. So if I feel this way, I'm just putting my thumb on the edge of the blade and tugging off like that. Oh, that side feels way sharper for some reason. Because I moved a little bit of steel, the edge is sort of facing that direction just by several degrees. So this way feels sharper because it's tugging into my skin a bit more. This way feels less sharp because my skin is going with the grain of that burr there. So that's a pretty good indication there. I can also look at the knife and I can see how shiny the edge is. It's got sort of a nice sort of mirrory quality down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it. Dope. Blank says he hasn't been on Reddit lately. He's on Kitchen Knife forums. Yeah. That toxic little place. Sometimes I'm on it, but I'm a bit of a lurker on that subreddit, just kind of searching up around this place.
I mean, this is my life here at the shop. I don't know if I want to be. I'll lurk, but I don't want to be actively involved. Sometimes I just want to go home and eat steak and fall asleep watching Netflix. Yeah. Just like everyone else.
What would be cool to see you guys use? Maybe a green brick of joy or something to sharpen another knife. Using the green brick of joy to sharpen.
Ooh.
Yeah, I actually have there's a green brick of joy right on the shelf.
I'll use it for my next knife.
Yeah,
I'll use it tonight.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite stones to use.
Yeah, they're unique.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fun stone. Like I love using it to shine the edges on those guys. It's just a really wicked stone to use. We don't technically sell it anymore. It's not something that we can get actually.
It's tough to find outside of Japan.
Yeah. But it's a fun stone. You know what the really sad thing about it? Owen, go grab our stone.
Yeah, ours is kind of sad.
Yeah. So story time with Francis, guys.
So I got 2 story times. I'm using the 10K. We can talk about that too.
Yeah. So let's story this guy. So there's this big story with our Green Brick of Joy here. We had it for almost 5 years here at the store. Maybe a little bit longer since the store used to be in Kelowna. But like about 2 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, I cracked the thing in half. You can see that big line right down the middle. I dropped this thing right on the floor, and I had to use some epoxy to kind of glue it back up. But the thing is, this thing still works perfectly fine. Yeah. It does leave a bit of squishy scratches, but you know what? It's not something that I'm gonna be bothered by too much. But as long as I have this good looking stone.
So don't drop your stone.
Don't drop your stone.
Yeah. Don't drop your stone. In other things not to do with your stone, this 10,000 grit that I got here, this guy is a monstrously good stone.
Yeah.
This Chaucera 10K, it's $319. These guys do not mess around. However, and it wasn't our fault. It was like this when we got here.
Yeah, the little webbing.
If Kevin's watching, we didn't do this to your stone. It's got webbing in it because this stone was accidentally soaked, I think, maybe overnight several times, and it began to break down some of the bonding in the stone. It's not uncommon to see webbing in these very, very hard professional and Chaucera stones. Even if you're taking care of them fairly well, it can still sometimes happen a little bit. It's sort of speculated that it has to do with the climate change between Japan and Canada or wherever else because it's so humid there. But yeah, it does happen every now and then. However, it doesn't really affect the way the stone works. If you're doing like a straight razor and you're checking it with a loop, you might see a little bit of inconsistency. But for a knife, for primary and micro bevel sharpening, it's fine. Nothing to worry about. So I'm going to finish this guy on my 10K here because I love this stone. I still love you, 10K.
You do that. Tim Chan and Blank keep saying like they want to see some obscure Japanese Asia owning Naniwa stones, but it might be more of a Naoto thing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Naoto is much more knowledgeable in that department. I would love to touch around Naoto stones, but like you know what, there's too much about it that I just don't know about it. I could share information, but I could be going the wrong direction. So
I was so excited last year. I was going to finally get to go to Japan. Now we all know what happened last year, but we were going to go to Naniwa. I was super excited to see all these weirdo stones, but maybe next time.
He gets stoned.
Yeah. I'm bringing a couple credit cards when I go, and I'm going to bring back some weird stones for you.
Blank also, Dr. Blank, he said that, Dr. Blank, I got to say Dr. Blank. I keep saying Blank. He broke his Chaucera 800 the same way, actually.
Yeah.
Luckily, he was on the base. Good thing it was actually the base then. Yeah, this sucks to drop a stone. I know the feeling of drop, at least since working here, I think it dropped like maybe 2 or 3. Let's make it 4 today. Let's make it 4 today.
Oh, are we going to break a stone?
No, okay, maybe not. We do have a one that can break.
If we get to 25 likes, Francis will not only spray me in the face with the bottle, but we will break this stone.
Break that thin old stone.
Yeah.
That guy is like a stone that we use all the time, and it wears down super quick. So you know what? Let's get those likes in there, guys.
It's going to be a Greek restaurant up in this if we get 25 likes. That's the magic number.
Magic number, guys. All you need to do.
All right, so I'm just breezing through this 10K here. And I'm going to do some stropping. So stropping is very, 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 very important. You can strop on a stone, you can strop on cork, you can strop on fabric, you can strop on felt, you can strop on suede, you can strop on leather, you can strop on denim, you can strop on, what else can you strop on?
You can strop on like felt.
I think I said that.
Like newspaper?
Newspaper, you can strop on so many things. And if you have stropped on stuff and it's working for you, congratulations. I strop using suede and chromium oxide stropping compound because I think I get the absolute best results. I really like to use Green Rouge because I find that it gets me a very, very nice, shiny, impressive polish. And when I show people their knives when they come pick them up, all beady-eyed and ready to experience joy. It does not disappoint because it makes your knives cut really, 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 really well, and it also makes them look super dope. So a strong. Go ahead.
Dr. Blank says cardboard too. Cardboard.
Thanks.
Oh.
Thanks, Dr. Blanks.
You know, balsa wood actually does really well too.
Wood, yeah.
Balsa wood.
Balsa wood.
Balsa wood. Cheap wood.
Yeah.
Good ones.
Oh, I like to use chromium oxide and felt. So you basically want to work at the same angle at which you were sharpening. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I sort of like to hold it up at an angle like this. I work in little sections all the way up to the tip.
While you're doing that, these guys are talking about Tim Chan. He haven't had any synthetic crack yet, but it happened to some of his natural stones.
Oh yeah. That sucks.
Yeah, the natural stones are tricky because when you over soak them, because they're naturally made, they can have like a bit of a softer type of stone to it, so it can leak out and absorb some water, which is not necessary. So those guys just put water on top of it, keep in good condition. That's kind of the scary thing with natural stones. They could come with a crack, they can't. It's just they're naturally made, right? So you never know what you get out of them. So
yeah, there's no manufacturer to complain to.
Yeah,
you can scream at the ground if you want.
What warranty, bro?
Yeah.
All right, how's that sharpening going?
Done. So this guy is very, very, very nice and shiny and smooth, and it feels great to the touch. Now it cuts the newspaper really, really well.
You guys are talking about all natural stones on this chat here, and I'm just jealous because I'm not that great with natural stones. I do have a bit of experience, but you know what? Like, I gotta get up my game a bit. Get some. I want to get an alto. Probably my first natural. I have my first natural actually. I don't know what I'm
a
getting.
little bit of shaving action here.
Oh, shave it. Shave.
Shave ready.
Let me get that.
Ooh, ready to go.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very, very sharp, as I would expect it after 10,000 grit and stropping. So that's the basics of sharpening a carving knife or a Sujihiki. If you are working, and I wish I had one to show you, I just thought of this about 20 minutes before we started the feed, a flexible knife.
Oh, flexible.
Yeah, flexies are a little bit tricky, and we can do another class on flexible knives. If you guys like the idea, let me know. They can be a little bit tricky to do, but let's take a look at a Yanagiba real quick.
Yeah, let me grab my flexi knife.
We have one?
Oh, well, I have the Arcos flexi right there.
Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can give you a little rundown. I'm going to sharpen something like that. I'm just going to do it on this here. Yeah. So a flexible knife can be a little bit tricky. Doing the back of the blade is more or less the same as doing a non-flexible knife. You just have to be very, very, very gentle. But when you're getting up to the tip, it has a tendency to do what it's designed to do, which is flex. So what I actually do, there's two methods. You can either go really slowly and really gently and do that lift there, or you can sort of put your fingers a little bit further back and bend the knife into the stone a little bit. This method is a little bit more scary, but it's very effective.
You know, like all our staff here when they first started, everybody who wanted to get into sharpening, these sharpening, these bending knives were always the most difficult.
Yeah, they're not the easiest thing to do. So instead of putting my pressure directly over the stone, I'm performing cardinal sin and pushing away from the stone here. I'm actually pushing to my left a little bit in this case, and I'm just rolling with how that flex is working there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dr. Blank, he just tried an oil stone for the first time. He said it was pretty interesting. Yep. I gotta say, man, it's interesting in a way because all your fingers are all oily.
Yeah.
How do you hold a knife?
When I went to culinary school, they had this black box. It was this black plastic thing with you took the lid off.
Yes.
And there was this stone.
I remember that.
And there were three sides.
Yeah.
And there was one coarse, medium, and fine. There was all this oil in there. And you take off the lid and oil splatters. And you flip around and oil splatters. And you're working with there's oil everywhere. There's black oil over
black everywhere, yeah.
It felt kind of like it was a good feedback. Like they felt good to use. But I don't want to buy oil, nor do I want to clean oil.
Yeah,
I'm
so
okay with
annoying,
that.
yeah.
All of the blacksmiths that we work with use either water or anti-corrosion fluid, which is essentially the same as water sharpening in principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's so much less fuss.
Yeah, and also like the oil gets like one thing I've really noticed is the oil on the stone gets incredibly thick over time. Like the heat and the mixing of the stone makes it harder to kind of push that stuff around. And yeah, it just kind of feels weird. I'm not a big fan of them, obviously, just by using all these water stones for so long. But yeah, it's tricky. You know what the really funny thing is? Yeah, those little pocket Sujihikis stones actually are
water or oil. Yeah, but they don't absorb anything, right?
Yeah,
they're magnesium, aren't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can use oil. Like we recommend just using it out of one for other. But you can definitely use oil on those guys.
If you want to experiment with oil sharpening and help yourself, go right ahead. Just be forewarned that in many cases, once you have put oil onto the stone, it is now an oil stone and will never ever get to be a water stone again.
Yeah.
If it's a porous stone and oil sinks into it, water will naturally evaporate, even through the deep pores in a 220 grit stone. Eventually, it'll all go into the atmosphere. Oil, obviously, it doesn't do that, right? So it's going to be oily forever, and you'll never get it to work without the oil from there.
Yeah. You know what's something really funny I learned from Ayumi the other day? That Arkansas or that Sujihikis stone. In the instructions, in the inside, it says that if you're in a pinch, you can just spit on the stone.
Gross.
It actually says on there in Japanese. I don't know which one, but like one of the instructions actually say you can spit on the stone and use that as lubricant. Yeah, no kidding.
No, I officially do not condone that.
not during these times, guys. Try not to do that.
Don't spit in general now, okay?
Yeah. All these guys are talking about trying oil stones here. Tim Chan and Blank are just going crazy on the oil stones
they're
here.
getting all oily up in there. Couple of oily boys.
Tim Chan, he's tried some glycerin as an alternative to water and oil. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, you just get like Coke.
I guess so.
No, that's just glucose.
Oh, okay. Dr. Blank has got some Norton Indian coarse and fine stones that are oil, Arkansas and stuff like that. And that's pretty crazy. Nice.
All right, so this is a Yanagiba, and I'm going to very briefly touch on proper methods to keep your Yanagiba in good shape. We're not going to talk about sharpening the primary bevel today. We're not really going to talk about the backside and stuff like that. But I'm going to show you how to keep it in good shape without fucking it. All right. So tip number 5 today for sharpening is keep your stone flat, and that goes absolutely doubly true for all single bevel knives. Period. So I am going to take my handy pencil, and I am going to draw a grid on my stone, and I am going to true this stone until it is completely flat. I am working now with the Knifewear 8000, which is the pearly white, essentially, from Naniwa. It is a phenomenal stone. It is $109. They work really well. So having a flat stone when working with a single bevel knife is paramount. We usually say, oh, it's flat enough. But if you are working with the backside of a single bevel knife and it's not perfectly flat, you can really cause some problems.
Oh, yeah. Kyle Wooden, he says, I have a couple finger stones that I use with oil, but that's only at the end of polish shape. Yeah, actually, a very common technique I see is some people will take some mineral, like the powdered form of natural stones, and if they want to get that really nice hazy finish across the entire, like, say on a really nice mirror polish edge on your Gigane or the softer steel, you can just mix it with a bit of oil and powder, and then just kind of spread it around, and that actually helps to kind of give that really nice matte finish to them.
Yeah, I believe our sword polishing kit, when we had a couple of those, they come with some oil for that, don't they?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Strange enough, but it's the same thing. You can also use Tsubaki oil for that, and that also works too, but why waste that?
All right, so a single bevel knife is sharpened fairly differently than a double bevel knife in that they're only sharpened on one side. They have only one big primary bevel on, if you're right-handed, the right face of the knife, if you're left-handed, the left face. So there are right and left-handed versions of this knife. So there are 3 basic spots where the knife is sharpened. The primary bevel, which is totally flat along that ground portion of the knife. The back side of the knife, which only actually makes contact at the very spine and the very edge. It doesn't contact in the center because this portion of the blade is concave. And then what's called a koba, which is a small secondary bevel up here. I'm just going to work with the secondary bevel and the back side of this knife today. So after you true your stone, now Francis, I think you and I do this a little bit differently. Like that. Perpendicular? Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perpendicular, flat.
Oh, wait, no. I do it diagonal, actually.
You do a diagonal?
Yeah, I do it diagonal.
Yeah. I'm going to do a perpendicular because I'm more comfortable doing this way. You can do it that way as well. I'm going to do a perpendicular because I know that this stone is flat. I just flattened it out. The pencil marks are totally gone. I'm going to put this guy flat down on my stone here, and I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strokes. I'm going to move it down. What?
My stream just...
Oh, we died?
No. I think my cat C knows nothing. Okay, whatever.
Are we still here, guys?
We still here, guys? Give us a little chatty chat if you guys say something. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4,
there we
5, 6.
Go. Thanks, Dr. Blank.
It is absolutely imperative that you do not put a secondary bevel on the concave side of your knife. If you put an angled bevel on the back side of this blade, you are going to...
You're done.
You're done.
You're done. You don't deserve this knife anymore.
Up your shit, get out of the house, bury yourself in the backyard. I'm calling it. Yeah.
You only have 15 likes? 15 likes, guys. 15 likes.
So don't ever do a angle on the back side of the blade. Another big no-no, if you are taking a look at the back of the knife after you've sharpened it, and you're seeing this, like this is sort of a medium, okay, single bevel knife. I'm not seeing a huge amount of work inside that concavity, right? If you see scratching in this area, that is an indication that your stone is not flat. And if you are using a dished out stone and you're grinding back and forth, you're actually making the knife the reciprocal of that. You're making it the opposite. So you're grinding this at an angle and you're grinding that at an angle. And that is another way to completely ass up your single bevel knife. So you want to make sure that you're not seeing a whole lot of action going on inside. I'm just going to give this a few more passes on each side.
Dr. Blind says, how do you know it's really flat, though?
I use my pencil and I draw a grid on the stone and I true until that grid is gone. That, for all intents and purposes, is flat enough for what we're working with here. This isn't that episode of Rick and Morty. Whoever brings it up first gets banned from our channel. But
do you know how it's really flat?
Well, how's that?
I don't know.
Okay. Like that's how I get it nice and
flat. If you smash that thin stone, you can get some pieces of finger stones.
Well, yeah, we're gonna save it.
Way ahead of you, bro. Like, look at this. Look at this. Look at my big old jug of jar of like little busted up finger stones. I'm way ahead of you. I got so much of this stuff. I got some 6K. I can share this guy with you. I even got some nice little Ichigamori powder too as well. Like I got. Oh my! Hold on.
That is what we call a stone hoarder.
Yeah, I don't get rid of stones.
We've got stone holders, but we also have a stone hoarder here at the shop. So I did the back side of the blade. That's all I'm going to do back there. I'm now going to flip it over and do my koba. So you want to go at a 15-degree angle on this as well, but you got to remember, because of that big primary bevel, that is not 0 degrees. That's like negative whatever degrees. The primary bevel is the 0 degree mark. So you want to do another 15 or so degrees on top of there. So it's going to feel like you're sharpening at a bit of a higher angle, but in relativity to where the primary bevel is, you're actually sharpening at the correct angle.
Is concavity a word now?
I think concavity is indeed a word.
Are you sure? I may have to. Let's figure it out.
Hey Siri, define concavity.
I don't have Siri.
Concavity. Noun, the state or being of concave, a concave surface or thing.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
It is a word.
I
concavity.
You just told Jeevan.
Thanks, Jeevan.
Concavity is 100% a word. Yes, it is. Have you guys ever done a convex sharpening vid? Is that a Naoto question? That is definitely.
That's a Naoto question. I typically don't do a lot of convex sharpening in general.
We don't do it here.
No.
I don't know how to repair it. I don't know a lot of knowledge behind it. I don't practice on it on the back. I don't have a knife that's messed up for me brave enough to do it. Naoto does have a vertical sharpening wheel over by Calgary. I got the big Naniwa wheel, and that's what we get here. I like that, but with that vertical wheel that he has, he's able to do the convex side of it. I'm not too sure how well he does it, but it's something that he's able to do there. So, yeah, it's nice to know that he can do that.
So there's my 1000 grit stone. Now, I didn't do any of the other lower grit stones on this guy because I don't want to grind away too much of that nice thin steel right behind the edge here. So when you're touching up your single bevel knife and you don't want to do any work on the primary bevel, just use higher grit stones, maybe like over 1000 and up. I might do like a 3 and an 8 or something like that. If that doesn't do the trick, that probably means it's time to do some primary bevel work, which you can learn all about tomorrow with Naoto on the Big Nerd Power Hour.
Naoto,
thing.
man.
Yeah.
That's the best place to go.
We're here for noobs, okay? We're the noob teachers.
We're the new people. Sun's still up. Warm weather is coming. Yes, guys, I don't know if you noticed that, but we have warm weather out there already. We're just stuck inside. Teaching you guys how to sharpen some knives.
So I'm stropping the exact same way. I'm doing 15 degrees on my Koba. That secondary bevel, we call it a Koba. And then I'm going to do some pretty flat strokes on the other side there. And then I'm going to call it a day.
Perfect. C-Snips has, what's your opinion? What's your thoughts on Misono Swedish steel knives?
They're all right.
They're not bad.
Nothing wrong with them. Yeah, they're fine. I don't really think that they're super duper special, but if you hand me a nice sharp Misono and a box of tomatoes, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
The UX10, those are the sweet ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
There's a couple of them.
They are a little bit tough to thin. After you sharpen them a few times and they start to get wider and wider, they can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to thin out and have look be presentable.
Yeah.
But they're fine.
They're great steel. I have nothing wrong with them. The Swedish steel, like like Misono mono steels, the Swedish steel it can be sharpened very easily and they're not hard to take care of. But they once you get into the thin and out, like Owen said, it doesn't look the greatest after over time. Yeah.
For around the same, like how much is one of those guys? $200?
I think they're pricey. Eh?
They're a little bit tough to find in Canada, actually.
Yeah,
we don't see a whole lot in the domestic market. I think they're probably a couple $100.
300 or so.
Yeah, for my money, I'd probably be a bit happier with the Tajiro DP because it's the similar sort of idea, but I find they can hold an edge a little bit better, and they're just easy to sharpen, and they're cheaper.
Sanmai versus mono steel, yeah, it's much better. I do like Tajiro's quite a bit.
But I'm not here to shame you and your Misono UX10. They're dope knives, and you're a sweet dude. And don't let anybody tell you different. Just gotta keep it sharp too. Now I'm done sharpening things, guys. I've given you all of my best advice. I've got no more advice to give. I'm drained.
Oh yeah.
Anybody got any questions?
Yeah. How many likes do we have, guys?
Yeah,
can I spray him yet? Can I break the stone? Can I spray him yet? Can I do anything to him? Can I do anything to Owen? Anything? Oh, I got a question here. Should I buy the Iwasaki razor or buy the other Shirogami while the razor still is going?
Buy the other Shirogami what?
Shirogami White, the razor.
Oh, Iwasaki.
Yeah.
Yeah, buy the Iwasaki.
Iwasaki.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Iwasaki is the best one.
You want to point the cameras down at that arrow there?
Where?
Right at that arrow.
What arrow?
That arrow on the floor.
Oh, okay. Okay. I didn't expect that to happen. God damn.
Opa!
That was my job.
Nope, my job, my turn.
Oh my god.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm the manager.
But I'm the assistant manager. So while I'm doing this, so okay, that gets sprayed. Oh, there you go. Okay, there's your favorite T-shirt, you guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching our totally professional sharpening workshop here on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. You can catch us every week at Thursdays at 6:15. Please like and subscribe our page. It helps people find our show a little bit more easily. And don't forget to turn on that notification so you never miss one of our rad videos. We have some super cool stuff coming down the pipe. I'm not going to talk about it right now. It's going to be dope. There is maybe a short video involving rabbits.
Rabbits?
Yeah.
Rabbits, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, that's all. Leave it at that.
Just strangers.
Yeah. Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions and you didn't ask him here and you think of him later, you can always hit us up at hello@knifewear.com. We're more than happy to assist. Anything else, Brando? Anybody say anything?
Yeah, everyone's wants some of that stones now. Everybody
They
wants,
want some of our stuff.
everybody wants a finger
come
stone.
on down, Knifewear Vancouver. We're located at 4215 Main Street. We got a whole bunch of little fragments of stones that come free with any purchase over $450.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
You guys can break your own finger stone for. Oh no! Now I'm gonna clean up more.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
an awesome night. We'll see you next week.
Peace.